The last color in Glimmersend was dying in Mara's hands. She raced up the bell tower with the village's final golden lantern as every roof, door, and fishing boat below turned ash gray. Then the black lake blinked. 7 days earlier, Glimmersend had been the brightest village on the lake. Its walls were painted like wildflowers. Ribbons crossed every street. Even the fishing nets were dyed purple, simply because the villagers could. Mara made the lanterns that kept those colors glowing after dark. She cut the glass and shaped the copper. Then she filled each frame with pale sand from the lakeshore. When lit, the grains shone like trapped sunset. Her grandfather, Oren, had taught her the craft. In his final winter, he gave her one strange warning: never make a lantern that could outshine the dark. Mara had laughed then. Wasn't darkness exactly what lanterns were for? The first color vanished from a baker's awning. Its red stripes turned white, while the morning bread was still warm. By noon, every red thing in Glimmersend had faded. The roses, the chimney pots, even the ribbon in Mara's hair. Everyone blamed bad dye. Then orange disappeared with the sunset. Yellow was gone by breakfast. If you enjoy mysteries, hidden places, and dangerous promises, subscribe to Wandering Tales, because Mara's lanterns were about to expose what the village had buried. The council ordered Mara to make more lanterns. People crowded her workshop with gray flowers and colorless cloth, begging for anything that still shone. Every flame restored a little warmth, but only inside the circle of its light. Mara worked until her fingers blistered. She used twice the glass, twice the copper, and every sack of shining lake sand she owned. That night, 100 new lanterns burned along the shore. At midnight, all 100 flames bent toward the lake. Not with the wind, against it. Their light stretched across the water in thin golden threads, and something below pulled. By morning, green had vanished too. The gardens looked carved from ash. Fishermen returned with silver weeds tangled in their nets. Among them, Mara found a piece of colored glass no one remembered making. The shard fit the curve of a lantern, but its copper edge was black with age. Someone had scratched a maker's mark into the metal. It matched Mara's own, a small sun divided by a wave. Oren had never explained that mark. He had only said it belonged to the first lantern maker. Now Mara searched his locked cabinet and found a map drawn on cloth so old it cracked beneath her fingers. The map showed Glimmersend on the shore, and another Glimmersend directly beneath it. Street for street, tower for tower. One warning divided them: what shines above must cast a shadow below. Mara took the map to the council. They dismissed it as one of Oren's bedtime inventions. Then they ordered 200 more lanterns for the Festival of Radiance. Perhaps, they said, enough light would frighten the color back. Only Tavi, the youngest ferryman, believed her. He had heard bells beneath his boat on windless nights. He had also found door handles in water too deep for any house. Before dawn, they rowed toward the place the flames had pointed. The lake stayed smooth until Mara raised the ancient glass. Through it, she saw rooftops below them. They were upside down, perfectly preserved, and glowing with stolen color. A stairway appeared beneath the boat. Its steps descended between two walls of water. Mara tied the last ordinary lantern to her belt. Then she and Tavi climbed down into the lake. The village below was Glimmersend's reflection, but nothing moved correctly. Smoke sank into chimneys. Rain rose from gutters. Their footsteps sounded a moment before their boots touched stone. Color flowed through the empty streets like water. Red ran along one gutter, blue gathered in doorways, green climbed the walls like ivy. Every stream moved toward the old bell tower. They followed the streams into a square filled with glass trees. Hundreds of lanterns hung from the branches, lanterns made by Mara's family across generations. Every one burned cold and bright. Mara reached for Oren's lantern. The moment she touched it, his voice filled the square. It wasn't a ghost. It was a memory trapped in glass. "We promised them one night of darkness," he said. "Then we broke our word." The stones beneath their feet opened like an eye. A figure rose from the bell tower's shadow. It stood as tall as a doorway, made of lake water, roots, and night. Every missing color turned inside its chest. Mara accused it of stealing Glimmersend's light. The keeper answered by opening one watery hand. Inside lay a memory of the village 300 years earlier, on the night the lake first rose. The first settlers had feared every shadow. They asked the lake to swallow their grief and nightmares. They even surrendered the colors that reminded them of loss. In exchange, Glimmersend promised to extinguish every flame for one night each year. For generations, they kept the night of returning. People sat in darkness and spoke the names of those they missed. For one night, sorrow was welcome in their homes. Then Glimmersend grew prosperous. Its people decided sadness was an old custom they no longer needed. Mara saw the truth, at last. The keeper was not gathering color to destroy Glimmersend. It was carrying everything the village had rejected. Each lantern made with shining lake sand only added to the debt below. The color would return, the keeper said, when the village willingly gave it one complete night. No lanterns, no hearth flames, no pretending that brightness could exist without shadow. The keeper pointed beneath the inverted bell tower. The oldest lantern was already cracking. If the festival lights pulled once more, 3 centuries of buried sorrow would burst free and drown both villages. Someone had to stop the festival. Someone had to reach the lantern. Mara and Tavi raced back through the inverted streets. Behind them, the glass trees began to crack. Ahead, the underwater staircase flickered as the first festival bell sounded above. Tavi reached the stairs first. A falling branch shattered his lantern, and darkness swallowed the lower steps. Mara handed him hers. Without it, she could no longer see the way out. Tavi could reach the surface before Mara. Mara alone carried the ancient shard that might repair the lantern below. She pushed the cloth map and her last light into his hands. "Stop the festival," she said. Then she turned back toward the bell tower. Tavi climbed. Mara walked deeper. For the first time, she entered darkness without a flame. But the dark was not empty. It held Oren's voice, her own fear, and a path of quiet stars. The stars led to the oldest lantern. Buried beneath the bell tower, it was larger than Mara. The first maker's mark sealed its frame. Behind the glass waited 3 centuries of unwanted sorrow. A crack crossed its glass. If it broke, every buried grief would rise at once, not as memory, but as a storm strong enough to drown both villages. Mara could repair the lantern with the ancient colored shard. That would trap the sorrow again and save the festival above. Or she could open it. Then Glimmersend would have to remember everything it had chosen to forget. Above the lake, Tavi burst into the festival square. He begged the council to extinguish everything. They saw only a wet boy, a cracked map, and no Mara. The mayor raised his torch toward the first lantern. Beneath them, Mara made her choice. She set the colored shard on the floor. Then she pulled the ancient latch. The lantern opened. Grief rose through the lake in a black column. Every festival flame turned blue, and every villager saw the memory their family had buried. The baker remembered a daughter whose name had vanished from the family book. The mayor saw the flood that had taken the old harbor. Children heard lullabies no living person had taught them. No one cheered. No one ran. One by one, the villagers lowered their lanterns. The mayor let his torch fall into the lake, and Glimmersend became completely dark. For one long night, the village spoke its forgotten names. People wept for losses they had never understood. Beneath the lake, each memory left the keeper's chest and rose like a star. The storm inside the ancient lantern softened. Its black water became clear. The staircase returned, and Mara climbed toward a surface she could not yet see. At dawn, Tavi found her on the shore. Behind them, sunlight touched Glimmersend. Color did not return all at once. It bloomed wherever someone was willing to remember. Mara reopened the workshop, but she stopped using lake sand. Her new lanterns were gentler. They lit doorways without chasing every shadow from the room. Each year, on the longest night, Glimmersend extinguished every flame. From the bell tower, the village looked dark. But in the lake below, 1,000 remembered colors shone like stars. Next, follow the cartographer who drew tomorrow. Every road placed on one forbidden map appears the next morning, but one missing path leads to a day that has not happened yet.